All right, mamas, let's get started with our Diastasis Recti repair. You're gonna need a soft surface like a mat or carpet, and if you're on wood floor, tile floor, or a mat, you'll wanna be wearing socks for this workout. Let's go ahead and come onto our backs for our first exercise. So feet are close to your hips. We're gonna start by lifting one leg, knee over the hip, and placing it back down. As you're doing that, I want you to pull your belly button in toward your spine, press your low back toward the floor, and breathe. Exhale as you lift that leg. Inhale as you touch down. So you're engaging those deep inner core muscles, your transverse abdominis. And that's what's gonna help heal that diastasis from the inside out. That leg is like a hinge, so it's moving really slow and controlled. And then as you come down, you're just lightly tapping that foot. So the leg's not heavy, right? All that pressure staying in the core. And relax. We're gonna switch and do everything on the other side. So deep breath in. Exhale, lift the knee over the hip. And again, you're pressing that low back down into the mat to maintain that inner abdominal pressure. So that transverse abdominis, which is the Spanx of your abdominal muscles, that's gonna hold everything in, strengthen and tone from the inside out. So you should feel really held in as you're doing all these movements. And it should feel very gentle. And relax. We're gonna move on. Adding to that movement, we're gonna lift the knee over the hip and then extend the leg to 45 degrees. Here we go. So we lift and press away. We bend and press away. As you're doing that, again, you wanna maintain that abdominal brace, belly button pulled in, lower back pressing down. You can flex or point the foot, that doesn't matter so much. What matters is that that leg is extending, and as you're doing that, your abs are staying nice and controlled. If you're starting to notice that low back come away from the floor, try to press it down. And if you're having trouble doing that, go back to that first movement. This is one workout that kind of builds on itself. So you could always scale back to the first couple exercises if you find it's getting too challenging for where you're at. And relax. Let's move to the other side. We're gonna do the same thing. So maintaining that abdominal pressure. Let's lift the leg and extend to 45 degrees. Now, if you start to feel like this is even a little easy, you could go lower than 45 degrees. You could press out toward the floor. But for now, we're gonna stay up here until you've mastered this and are able to keep that low back pressing down the whole 50 seconds of work. Then you can progress. It's always better to start and it's something be a little easy than to go and do too much too soon, especially when it comes to core repair. We want to be gentle on those muscles. And let's relax. We're gonna add on again. This time we're gonna lift both the legs, knees bent over the hips at 90 degrees. Here we go. So knees over hips, and then the legs come down, lightly tap the toes. So you're gonna feel a lot more pressure here in your abs. If it's too much, alternate, do one leg at a time, lifting, tapping. Always come here or do a combination. You don't have to do the same thing the whole circuit. You can switch it up and do a little bit of the easier variation, a little bit of the harder variation. I do want those knees over the hips, stopping there so you're not pulling them toward your chest. That's taking the pressure out of the core. I'm gonna keep it there and press that low back toward the mat. Again, if it's lifting, that's a sign you need to modify. And relax. We're gonna add again to that movement, lifting the legs, and then we're gonna extend them to the ceiling. Let's brace, we lift, and we extend. Bend and tap all the way down. So we're just adding another little movement to it. And again, the challenge is gonna be maintaining that abdominal pressure, that Spanx, that tightness in the core as we move the legs. And if you're unable to do that, you feel your back shifting, coming away from the mat. A little bit of movement's okay, but you don't want that low back arching and you losing that abdominal pressure and starting to see like a coning or a pooching of the stomach. We don't want that, right? We want that core engaged. We don't want to strain those abdominal muscles. We want to strengthen them with gentle movements that are at an appropriate level. Relax. All right, we're gonna stay here and we're gonna do a heel slide. So we're gonna start on this front leg here, and you're gonna slide the heel away from you. This is why you need your socks. Press out against the floor, extending the leg, pull it in. So you're keeping that abdominal brace, sliding out and sliding in. Keeping your heel driving into the floor. Again, if you're on tile, wood, or something, you're gonna need a sock like I've got, or you can do this on the carpet, maybe barefoot, but you want, or you could put like a towel under your foot or something, but you want it to be kind of like a smooth slide, right? So it's not catching too much or sticking. And relax, we're gonna do the same thing on the other leg. Here we go, slide in the heel, pulling it in. That's a little bit stickier on this side. Again, keeping that belly pulled in, back pressing toward the floor. And this is a really mild amount of pressure, but again, all these movements, even though some you may not feel a ton of burn in your abs, that's not necessarily what we're going for, right? We're going for repair. So we're repairing those deep core muscles so that we can strengthen all of that core. And again, it's not about necessarily feeling a big burn like you would feel in a crunch or a plank, right? Because it's deep tissue work we're doing here, and it's restorative. All right, we're gonna move over onto our hands and knees for a cat-cow. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. We're gonna start with that cat. So lifting up, arching the back, dropping the belly, lifting the hips. Then we tuck and we round. Chin drops to chest. Just moving fluidly through it at your own pace. Exhaling as you tuck. Inhaling as you arch. So this one's working those deep core muscles as you are rounding the back high. You're pulling that belly button in, engaging the pelvic floor, and then you're releasing the belly here. Also great for spine mobility and posture, which we need as pregnant and postpartum moms. And relax, we've got our last exercise, the bird dog. So we're gonna lift opposite arm and leg, arm at shoulder height, leg at hip height. So right arm, left leg lifts up, come down, switch sides. So you're moving really slow and controlled. As you move the arm and leg, try to keep everything really balanced by pressing into the hand and the knee that's on the floor. And then the leg goes to hip height, arm goes to shoulder height. We don't want to lift the leg too high, so the work stays out of that low back. And we also want to stay really balanced, so pressing evenly through the hand and the knee on the ground so you're not collapsing into that arm or the hip. You might find one side's a little bit more challenging, totally normal. Do the best you can here. It's great for core stability. You can go as slow as you need to here. And that's the end of our circuit. 10 minutes to strengthen those abs, repair your diastasis recti, and repair your C-section shelf or pooch. If you're looking for more postpartum core workouts, I have several for beginner, intermediate, and advanced C-section, diastasis, and postpartum ab repair and sculpting. So be sure to check those out. Let me know what you think of this workout in the comments and give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Thanks so much for working out with me.